After every crisis, the same word appears: recovery. Governments announce it. Markets celebrate it. Headlines repeat it. Economists debate its timing. Central banks point to it as proof that their actions worked. And yet, for many people, recovery feels abstract. Prices remain high. Wages feel tight. Job security feels fragile. Housing feels less affordable than before the crisis. This disconnect is not a misunderstanding. It is a feature of how modern economic recovery is defined, measured, and experienced. To understand the truth about economic recovery, we must examine what recovery actually refers to and what it does not. The modern concept of economic recovery emerged alongside macroeconomic measurement in the 20th century. After the Great Depression, governments needed tools to assess economic health. Gross domestic product, unemployment rates, inflation indices, and industrial output became the standard indicators. Recovery, in this framework, meant a return to aggregate growth. If GDP stopped falling and began rising, the economy was said to be recovering. If unemployment peaked and began to decline, recovery was declared underway. This framework prioritized system-level stabilization, not household-level outcomes. That distinction still defines recovery today. GDP does not measure prosperity. It measures activity. If government spending increases, GDP rises. If financial markets expand, GDP rises. If rebuilding follows destruction, GDP rises. GDP does not tell us who benefits, how income is distributed, or whether living standards improve evenly. After the 2008 financial crisis, U.S. GDP returned to its pre-crisis level by 2011. Stock markets recovered even faster. Median household income did not fully recover until several years later. The system recovered before households did. One of the most consistent features of modern recoveries is that financial assets rebound before the real economy. This is not accidental. Central bank interventions are designed to stabilize markets. Lower interest rates, asset purchases, and liquidity injections flow directly into financial systems. After 2008, the U.S. Federal Reserve lowered rates to near zero and launched quantitative easing. Equity markets bottomed in March 2009 and began a historic rally. Employment recovery lagged. Wage growth lagged further. Recovery, as defined by markets, arrived early. Recovery as experienced by workers arrived much later. Because recovery is driven by liquidity, it disproportionately benefits asset holders. Stocks, bonds, and real estate respond immediately to monetary easing. Their prices reflect future expectations discounted at lower interest rates. Wages do not. Labor markets adjust slowly. Contracts, bargaining power, and structural demand constrain wage growth. As a result, recoveries often widen inequality. Those with assets feel recovery quickly. Those without assets experience rising costs long before rising incomes. Unemployment rates are a central recovery indicator, but they hide critical details. A falling unemployment rate does not guarantee stable, well-paid employment. It does not capture underemployment, wage stagnation, or job insecurity. After the 2008 crisis, many jobs returned as lower-paying or less secure positions. The headline number improved. The lived experience did not fully recover. Recovery can exist statistically while fragility remains widespread. Inflation often emerges during late-stage recovery. As demand returns and supply remains constrained, prices rise. In the early 2020s, after pandemic stimulus and monetary expansion, inflation surged globally. In the United States, inflation peaked above 9% in 2022, even as GDP growth resumed. Officially, the economy had recovered. Practically, purchasing power declined. Recovery for output coincided with loss for consumers. This contradiction is not a failure of measurement. It is a consequence of what recovery prioritizes. Modern recoveries are increasingly debt-driven. Governments borrow to support spending. Central banks suppress interest rates to enable refinancing. Debt smooths downturns but raises long-term obligations. After the 2008 crisis, global debt rose sharply. After the pandemic, it surged further. By the early 2020s, global debt exceeded 350% of global GDP. Recovery was achieved by pulling forward future resources. The cost is delayed, not eliminated. Because recoveries are built on liquidity, debt, and confidence, they remain sensitive to shocks. Rising interest rates, geopolitical events, or supply disruptions can reverse momentum quickly. Households sense this fragility intuitively. When recovery depends on asset prices and credit conditions rather than income growth, stability feels conditional. People may technically be in a recovery while feeling economically insecure. Recovery is not voted on. It is declared. Statistical thresholds determine official narratives. Once GDP grows, unemployment falls, and markets stabilize, recovery is announced. There is no requirement that inequality narrow, affordability improve, or financial stress ease evenly. The system measures what it was designed to measure. Recovery is defined by system survival, not by universal improvement. Economic recovery is not a false concept. It is a partial one. It tells us when systems stabilize, when markets resume functioning, and when growth resumes in aggregate. It does not tell us who recovered, how securely, or at what cost. Understanding the truth about economic recovery does not mean rejecting data or institutions. It means recognizing their limits. Recovery can exist alongside strain. Growth can coexist with insecurity. Stability can mask imbalance. Once you understand this, recovery stops feeling confusing. It becomes what it always was: a system-level outcome, not a universal experience. And that is the truth about economic recovery.